Hi, I'm Robert, and today I'm going to take this image from here to here, all in Lightroom. I scouted out this location in Dana Point using Google Maps. When I arrived to the beach, the clouds were looking great, so I had high hopes for this shot. It was a very long walk to get here. The entire way I was climbing over these giant boulders, so it took a long time. By the time I got there, the clouds had rolled in and they were super thick, like we see here. But after all that effort, I wasn't going to give up. So I took out my gear and shot anyways. I'm going to use the Grad Tool and the Brush Tool to help bring out details of this image. I like to work my way from the bottom up, double check that I'm on the current version. I'm not going to apply a vignette to this image, so we'll skip that. Let's click on Constrain Crop, zoom in on the horizon, and let's level this image. That looks better. Let's continue up. As always, remove chromatic aberrations and enable profile corrections. I shot this on a Tokina 11-16 with a Canon 40D. I had a 3-stop soft edge graduated neutral density filter placed over the sky. If you're not using a graduated neutral density filter for your landscapes, I suggest you get one. It's really the best way to even out your exposure between the sky and the foreground. Okay, let's continue up. We'll go to sharpening. I'll do my standard sharpening routine of 100 and applying a mask. Hold down Alt so we can bring our mask up. Let's sharpen everywhere except for the sky. We don't want to add any extra grain to the sky if we can help it. I'm going to skip the color section and go straight to the basic panel. Let's open this image up. We'll bring the highlights down to recover the sky. And let's bring the shadows up. So that's a bit much, so let's back it down. Right there looks pretty good. Now I'm going to set my white point and black point. Bring the white point up until we start to clip on the histogram, and then bring it down. We'll do the same with the black point. Bring it down, we're clipping, then back it off. Now let's work on the sky. Grab a Grad Tool, pull it down while holding Shift. Holding Shift will straighten out the line, just like a horizon. Now we can press O for overlay, and you can see we're affecting everywhere in the sky as well as the rocks over here, but we don't want to be applying any adjustments to this area. So let's have Lightroom mask off just the sky. To mask off the sky, simply go down to Range Mask, choose Luminance, and grab our dropper, then click in the sky. So you can see that Lightroom takes care of the rest. Now all of the sky is masked off, and we're not going to be affecting these rocks over here. So press O to turn off your overlay, and let's simply just bring up the saturation in the sky. So now we can add some color back into the sky, even though there's not a whole lot. Let's grab a new Grad Tool, click here for new, and let's bring out our foreground element, which are these pretty cool looking rocks. So we're going to place a Grad Tool over them at an angle like this. Let's press O so we can see where we're working. Again, it spills over into the water, which we don't want. We just want to work on the rocks. So we'll use the same trick, Range Mask, Luminance, and then click on somewhere dark. So you can see that Lightroom only is going to be affecting these dark areas and not the light areas. So it's an easy and quick way to mask off all of the rocks. So let's press O to turn off our overlay, put our dropper back, and we're going to add texture to these rocks to help bring them out. That looks good. Now our eye is really drawn in on these sharp rocks in the foreground. They're really our main feature of this image. The rocks and cliffs back here aren't very interesting and they're kind of far away. So I'm not going to sharpen them or add texture to them because I want the eye to be drawn here to the foreground and see all of the detail in these interesting rocks here. Now to add more contrast to the scene, let's grab a brush tool. We're going to paint in all of this white water here. So grab a wide brush, press O for overlay so we can see where we're working. And we don't need to be very precise because we're going to apply a mask. So we've painted in all of the white water. Let's go down to Range Mask. Let's select on Luminance, grab our dropper, and click on a white area. So you can see Lightroom took care of all of the work, and now we're just going to be affecting all of this white area. So we can press O, turn off our overlay. Now let's brighten up this water. Bring our exposure up. too much. Let's back it down. That looks pretty good. So let's see before and after. Here's before, and here's after. So now we have a dark, sharp area versus a bright, white area. Adds contrast to the scene. Let's grab one more brush here, click new, and let's work on this outer water. So brush in all of this area and we'll apply a mask. We'll go down, range mask, color this time. Grab our dropper and let's click on the water. So it's spilled over onto the rock in the horizon a little bit. Let's see if we can use the amount slider to adjust it. Doesn't quite give us the effect we want, but we can fix it easily. We can turn our brush into an eraser by holding down Alt. Erase from this area on the rock and the horizon. That's good. So I want to bring up the saturation in this area to make it a little more vibrant. We don't have a whole lot of color in this image. And let's see if we can brighten it up a little bit. How about just 0.1? Otherwise, we had a pretty dark image. The water's a little bit brighter, but we still retain the gloomy look of this image. After I was done with this photo shoot, I still had to walk all the way back to my car over all of these rocks and boulders in the dark. Be sure to check the tide before you go out exploring somewhere far away like this. You don't want the tide coming in on you while you're out shooting. So I use a tide chart app on my phone so I can double check that I'm not going to be caught out by the tides. It's also good to check the surf report before you go out. You don't want to be caught off guard with a large set of waves. Use these tips to be safe before you go out and shoot. And also, don't turn your back to the ocean. You never know if waves going to be coming in. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thanks.